Today, we're very pleased, very excited to have with us, speaking with us today, Becky McKnight, an English language teacher.
Welcome, Becky.
Hi.
It's great to have you with us today, Becky. Please tell us about your background.
Well, I come from Ontario, and I have a bachelor's degree in literature, and I did a year of the ESL teaching program at Carleton University, and then after that I got a job through the Japanese embassy in Japan, so I taught there for 2 years. And what was interesting about that was I was actually in the public system, so I was in 3 different high schools, which was fascinating. After that, I moved back to Montreal to do my master's in applied linguistics at Concordia, and then during that time I was lucky enough to be able to teach the writing courses there. So it was starting off at high level, students are high level students. Then after that, during my master's, I taught in the Explore program for 2 summers, Bishop's University. After that, I got hired at College O'Sullivan in Quebec City, which is a private cégep business college. And then after that, I headed to the cégep of Saint-Jean sur Richelieu, and I've been there ever since.
Fantastic.
And there I'm a teacher. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's what my next question is. Where do you work and what are you doing there, Becky?
Yeah, well, I'm at the cégep Saint-Jean sur Richelieu, and I'm a teacher, but as a teacher, we're on all kinds of committees too, Formation Générale. I've been on hiring committee. I've been on, paired as the teacher assistant for new teachers. I was the one it wasn't me, but I was in charge of our English Help Center and the tutor training program when it first started up.
Do you have any particular level you specialize in, Becky?
I do. I've been teaching 100 since I started, and I'm actually an author of the textbook Real One, which was published by Chenelière. I was a co-author with Angelica Brunel, the 2nd edition, so 100 is my specialty, and I also 102B, the B block course, the 102 level is, I've taught every level except 103, but those are my 2 specialties, if you can say, yeah.
Great.
So perhaps you could describe for us the kinds of things you're doing in your new textbook.
Our new textbook, first of all, is for the 102 B block course, and it's Explore 3, so it's part of the Explore series by Oxford University Press. One of the things I think that I was happiest about and most proud about, and actually the feedback, because we got, as you know, when they're publishing a book, they always send it out for review and so on. So one of the strong things I think is the skills building in the book. And one of the teachers even said the strategy section is amazing. And we have a research strategy section, and then we have a strategy section for writing, speaking, listening, reading, and also I mentioned the research and vocabulary. And also, of course, the skills are integrated within each unit as well, but then there's kind of summary and more detailed information and explanations and so on in the back of the book. So an example, one thing is like note-taking and annotation. I think we do a really good job of making it interactive. They really learn by doing, analyzing. We really do a good job in developing critical thinking skills. And again, we had the feedback that it shows students how to really read critically, think critically. Just a few examples are throughout the book, and this is new. I don't think it's in any other book in terms of, really integrated all the way through as credibility checks for any listening or reading where you have somebody that's interviewed that isn't from, let's say, CBC or, so those credibility checks I think are great. Also in all the reading and listening questions, we have a section comprehension and analysis. So it's not just straight comprehension questions, it's analysis sections where they actually, go beyond just what's explicitly stated to analyze and then further use that information. But each chapter has an interpreting data exercise to help develop numerical literacy and also interpretation of information from charts and so on. And that has been shown in research and feedback we get from companies and so on. Our CEGEP does studies and so on that students actually are weak in that aspect. So that was another thing that teachers that reviewed the book also were positive about. And one unit I'm really happy about, I think is a very strong unit, is the media unit, again, and how it gets them. And I'm always so excited. I think in my course, that's one thing that they really go out with, to think critically, especially in these days of, fake news, you have deep fake videos, bots, and so on. And, it's becoming more and more essential that students really, analyze, have an approach to, when they see or read or listen to things to think about where it comes from. And it's fun too. We've incorporated a sense of humor. I know that's you've got to have a sense of humor, and you have to, have that in life in general, So I definitely believe that we have to have that in the classroom. So some activities, for example, we have listening and note taking, really great about laughter in the workplace, and then students can go on to think about a field-specific, company that they're working, and anyway, a real situation where they're at a conference and have to go back and report on the meeting, or how their company, whether they should or should not incorporate more laughter into workplace. And
wonderful overview. How can they get a hold of the book? People?
They just have to get in touch with Oxford University Press. It's being published soon, even though it's not in print, hard copy print yet. It will be soon. There is a digital copy available online, so they can get, and it has the scope and sequence and everything you need if you want to develop your week-by-week plan, before you actually have a hard copy in your hand, because the digital copy is available. Yeah. And of course, there's an internet site that goes with it, so you can see all the online material as well. There's testing materials and all that is.
As the author of a textbook, I want to ask you, what makes good pedagogy for you? Please share some of your insights into what makes good teaching.
Well, for me, first of all, good teaching, you got to care, and you got to make your students know that you care, feel that you care. You have to make them comfortable in the classroom. And for me, one thing I do, and I found it sets the tone. You have to have a particular culture in your classroom. And for me, on day one, I tell students I really only have one rule, and the rule is respect. And then we talk about respect. There's self-respect. So, it means we talk about what that means. And then we talk about respect for others. And I bring everything, anytime there's problems, if there are problems in a classroom, you always discipline or whatever, not much, but anytime students may be talking or not speaking English, I always bring it back to the respect, and we talk about how students, you have to pass your English course for life, English helps you so much, so we got to give students that opportunity, and we're not helping each other, we're not respecting the others in the classroom and ourselves, because you want to always bring out the best of yourself, whatever it is. And we talk also about, in terms of respect, how listening when others talk and how important it is, because particularly in the first language, but in second language, when students, and we talk about fears, what are the highest fears, and people have those lists, and it's always talking in front of others. So we talk about how if you're not listening, how the student feels, and if it's you and you see people talking, one's sleeping, yawning, one's on the phone, how it affects that student and how you could be in that situation. So you have to, I think, have a culture of respect in the classroom.
Can you give some advice to teachers using this book in this course, let's say for the first time at this level?
I think you always have to have clear objectives, purposeful objectives, for what you're doing, and students have to be made aware of them. They have to recognize why they're doing something. I think they appreciate that. You can even be open, like I tell your students, discuss why, and also to give feedback after and encouragement after, and like, wow, you just did this, and now you know how to do this. We've learned this.
So we're coming towards the end of our interview now, and perhaps you could give us 3 short takeaways that we can leave our viewers and listeners with.
Remember that if students feel that you care, they're going to respond to that, and they can forgive a lot if they know that you actually care. That's easy to do. Enjoy yourself in assignments, assign things that you know, like I always think, okay, if I'm not going to enjoy marking this, students are not going to enjoy writing it or doing it, you know? So I always,
That's right.
I try, yeah. So, you know, we spend a lot of time teaching and working. You got to have fun. You got to put some humor into it. Enjoy yourself. Take it easy on yourself, you know?
Sure.
You do your best and you learn from each class. And then establish your classroom culture early. And of respect, and keep corrections. It's quality is much better than quantity. Find ways for students to self-correct, peer correct, correct as a classroom, correction type things, but just don't kill yourself with corrections. There's a lot more effective way, as you know, when you guys are developing, I know many ways for students to self-correct, and there's so many tools now that we don't need to be doing all that, and how effective is it really? So just do not burn yourself out in your first 5 years of teaching or 10 years or whatever, and be transparent and share. I mean, that's what I love about Rascals, and I love about what you guys are doing, because that's how we learn. Teaching is not a competition, and I find, you don't, so, and often we're guarded, I find, I'm a human too, so I understand that, but if we help each other to become better, we're helping more than just our students. You help one teacher, you help hundreds of other students, and we become better ourselves. So teaching is a team sport.
I agree.
So that's totally,
Excellent.
and that's why what you guys are doing is so wonderful.
Good.
Yeah, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. So
It's great having you.
Blah, blah, story blabbed on.
It's great having you with us, Becky.
So one more
Thank
time,
you,
say the
Frank,
name
and
of your book and how to get a hold of a copy of it.
It's called Explore 3, and it's part of the Explore series by Oxford University Press. So you can get in touch with, you can Google it. Yeah, it's actually Explore 3 field specific. I forget, that's what the keywords are. So just Google or get in touch with your Oxford rep, and I hope it can help some teachers. Yeah.
Fantastic. Excellent.
Thank you, Becky.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
That's wonderful.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Okay.